jungle. And during that huge storm, many trees and branches came crashing down to the ground. And he was, legitimately concerned for his life. Because these were very simple buildings. No sort of building license was needed. It wasn't so structurally secure in times of storm. It was just so simple, just bamboo and thatch. And leaves, mostly. And then when the storm came, could just try and shelter from the rain, but the builder would offer no barrier to any big twig or branch especially, or if a tree came crashing down to the ground. You could see the big storms which we have in all parts of the world. And many trees came crashing down to the ground. As you know in my talks, I always like to add a bit of drama. Crashing down! Oops, sometimes too much drama. Because when I was a young Buddhist, sometimes people would give talks that you couldn't sort of challenge them on the sort of the Dhamma and according to the Buddha's teaching. They sent me to sleep. So I always made a vow, if ever I give a talk, I'd always make it sort of exciting sometimes. Anyway, so many trees came crashing down onto the ground, but then he survived. And in the morning, when it was calm and clear, you could see, he looked around the damage. And the damage, many trees had just missed his little hut. But what really took his attention was not the trees and the twigs, but the leaves. The leaves which had been torn off from the tree and lay dead on the forest floor. They were mostly old brown leaves. Leaves which have lived a full life, many years, maybe not many, I don't know, maybe many years, at least many months, a long time on that tree. They form the majority of the dead leaves. Amongst those dead leaves are many yellow leaves, some green leaves, and even some few light green leaves. They're the fresh ones, which could have only been sprouted from the twigs the day before. There were only a few of those, but they were on the forest floor as well, dead. And up there on the tree, there you saw mostly green leaves, but there were still a few yellow leaves and one or two old brown leaves, curly old brown leaves, which were still hanging on after all those years, even when young green leaves had passed away. And the answer to that, the meaning of that, seeing real life in nature, was that when storms come through our community, when people get sick or die, they mostly take the old ones, the old brown leaves. They also take a few young ones as well. And nothing has gone wrong. That's a wonderful thing. We can't blame anybody. It's no one's fault. We can't rage against the elements or karma or God or whatever. We realize this is life. And the only thing we can do when we realize that this is just an essential part of the human condition called life is that we accept it, we embrace it, we learn how to live with it instead of challenging it and denying it. And from that, so much we can learn and grow